Hi, I'm Katie Pagnotta, licensed clinical mental health counselor, parent coach, and social emotional learning consultant for schools. Welcome to Rise and Shine. Congratulations on giving yourself this time to be able to dedicate to yourself and your well-being. We're going to talk a little bit this morning about the difference between hits of happiness and journeys of joy. And I decided to come out into nature to video because in nature is where I feel like I can best access my joy and contentment. So when we think about the difference between happiness and joy, if we Google it, there are many different people and organizations who will categorize one way and the other way, and then another organization might completely contradict it. So, for example, some people identify happiness as momentary and temporary, fleeting, positive emotion, whereas joy is more of a underlying, constant contentment. And again, some people define it opposite. I will use those definitions for the purposes of the video. And as a friend pointed out, those are simply social constructs that we have created in order to label different things. But the experience is what is most important. So when we think about hits of happiness, we may be thinking about things that give us and provide us that temporary positive emotion of happiness. So maybe it's eating a bowl of ice cream. Maybe it's pressing buy now on Amazon. Maybe it is receiving a compliment from somebody else, right? So all of these things bring these temporary waves of happiness, and they may pass very quickly. And another situation arises where we may experience a feeling of sadness or jealousy or frustration, right? And so we can liken it to the weather, whereas we constantly have different weather that changes and comes and goes, and we don't have control over it. Similarly, we don't have control over those other external experiences that might happen to us. And then obviously there are some choice in terms of things that we consume and such as that. So if we are constantly seeking happiness, as a lot of our culture asks us to do, right? So in our heavily marketed culture, we are often faced with products where companies are asking us to buy certain things to increase our happiness and such as that. People are often saying like, I just want him to be happy, or I just want her or them to be happy, or I just want to be happy. Right? But when we're seeking just those hits of happiness, it can lead down a really treacherous track where we may start to eat more or eat less or judge more or judge inwardly or outwardly so much that it can develop habits that are super unhealthy. The other side of the coin is experiencing joy. So joy is that underlying sense of contentment. So that's the question, right? Like, how do we experience joy? So joy is awakened in us through nature. It's also awakened in us in living our authentic lives and our authentic selves. And in order to do that, we need to not only experience these hits of happiness, but we also have to truly experience the more challenging moments in our lives. So those feelings of sadness, frustration, anger, we have to awaken to those as well instead of avoiding them. Again, our culture really asks us to numb out, to avoid them, right? But when we do that, we're denying our own experience. Again, as we liken it to nature, in order to have a healthy ecosystem, we need some thriving trees and we need some rotting trees. We need sunshine and we need rain. If we have the extremes, it doesn't work. We have too much rot or we have droughts. We need to be able to, in ourselves, acknowledge both those hits of happiness and those more challenging emotions. And when we're able to do that and move through those with support when needed, then we're able to really awaken in ourselves, our true authentic selves, and access the journeys of joy and that content feeling that lies within us at all times. So I challenge you to go ahead and journal with me as I will be doing. so that as we go through our days, we can be mindful of what we're experiencing, what the emotions are that come up, and then tonight be able to journal about those and categorize and label the emotions that came up and how you were able to move through them rather than avoiding them. All right, enjoy.